insomnia, joint pains, loss of libido, lightheadedness, anxiety, inability to handle stress, extreme fatigue, insulin resistance, a weakened immunity system, food cravings. Do any of these sound familiar? Have you ever been in a season in life where you experience a few or more of the symptoms that I have mentioned? Then this video is right for you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Imani Ambajo, and today's video is all about fatigue and burnout and how to prevent it, how to deal with it, where does it come from, just understanding the whole fatigue system and knowing how to stay ahead of it so that we are not always tired, we are not always burning out, we are not always falling behind and angry and anxious and all what we have mentioned earlier. So in order for us to understand how to prevent fatigue and burnout, let us first lay a foundation in understanding what exactly leads to fatigue. So there's this matrix. It's a quadrant for four squares, a square divided into four. So it has four little squares inside, and then each represents something different. So the very first quadrant represents things that are urgent and important. So they are both urgent and important. So these are things like exam or a report or a project or a client's email. These are things that have they have some urgency to them. You really have to do them right now, and they are a priority. So especially this quadrant, the more items you have inside this quadrant, the higher the likelihood of you getting stressed and you getting fatigue and burning out. So we want as much as possible to depopulate this quadrant. We want to have very few things that are both urgent and important. So if you're someone who is always putting out fires, you're always up and down, you're always having deadlines to meet, it can be very dangerous to your own mental health and to your body and to your whole system. So important things that are both important and urgent, we want to keep them at a minimum. The second quadrant are things that are not urgent, but they're very important. So these are the things that are in your to-do list. So this is where we want to focus on. We want to have as much activity going on here as possible so that we can schedule them, so that we can know what do I need to achieve at this point, so that you keep checking them off your to-do lists. So when you have a lot of stuff inside this quadrant, it makes accomplishing them quite easy because they're not yet urgent. They're just important, but we haven't gotten to the urgency state where we are constantly trying to meet deadlines, So if you have a lot going on in this quadrant, then you're safe. The third quadrant on the lower side are things that are urgent, but they're not important. So these are things like, for example, cleaning out my room. It's urgent, it needs to get done, but is it really important? No, it's not. So these are things that you can easily delegate to someone else. You can let your nanny or your housekeeper do these things for you, even meal planning or cooking or washing the kids. They're urgent because they need to get done on a daily basis, but are they important? Do you need to keep rushing to do them? Not really. So all these things you need to learn how to delegate. Just get them off your plate, let someone else help you do them. And for the longest time, I used to really struggle with that, the activities inside this quadrant. I will come home from work, I would want to wash my kids by myself. I never let anyone clean. Okay, not really let, but my nanny never offered to clean out my room for me. So again, that also was on my plate. I needed to clean my room and organize it quite a few times a week. Anytime my partner was around, I made sure I made dinner, I made him breakfast, and with time it becomes a lot. And These are the small things that lead to burning out, because you're constantly moving, constantly doing one thing or the other. So in 2023, I decided, let me just focus on the work that pays me. With the housework, I have employed someone. Let me entrust her with doing her work correctly. Let me stop micromanaging her. Let me give her the freedom to do everything that she's falls under her job description. And so far, so good. She has not complained that it's too much, and everything is running smoothly without me taking part in it. So these are things that can do without your influence. So a lot of mothers are struggling with this quadrant. You want to be everywhere at all the times, doing everything. Please learn to delegate and learn to just let go of the authority. Trust that whoever you have given a task will complete it and do it properly. And even if they don't do it properly, it's fine. It's not that serious. So delegate and let it go. And the last quadrant are things that are neither important and they're not urgent. So what are things that are not important and they're not urgent? Things like shopping. Sometimes if it's not your main monthly shopping, my goodness, it's a weakness of mine as well. Anytime I go to a new town and I have some time in my hands, I want to go to their supermarket and check out prices for different things. I want to just walk around and see how is the cloth market like, how are the prices there. Is that really necessary? It's neither urgent nor important, but still it is wearing me down. I get home tired and exhausted, and when you try to weigh the kind of things that you've done in that day, it doesn't add up. Another thing is screen time, be it Netflix or social media. It's neither urgent nor important, yet we invest a lot of time and energy in those things. So if it's a movie that you're not really into, please don't waste your time. Just relax and do something different. In short, prioritizing this whole foundation that I'm trying to lay in productivity is that you need to learn to prioritize what goes where. And for the first few times, you might need to actually write down all your tasks and assign them inside these different quadrants. But as you get used to it, you can do it mentally. Like, I know tomorrow I need to meet this and this client, and that falls under quadrant B. It is important, but it's not urgent. So let me deal with it right now before I really have to do it, before it becomes an urgent and important matter. So if you keep focusing a lot of your tasks inside quadrant 2, you'll be safe, you'll live a stress-free life, and you'll be good with time management. And you'll find that you're becoming more and more productive. So I hope we are together about all this, about this foundation. And now I can go into giving you guys tips that have worked for me towards preventing fatigue. Okay, so tip number 1, of course, is clearing out my space. When I used to be in the office, right now I do field work, but when I used to work in the office, I used to make sure that my desk is free from clutter, because trust me, just having a cluttered space already clutters your mind and it weighs down on your productivity, and you just feel that you're not settled. So the first point to start from, if you work at the office, clear out your desk. Let it be clear. Only have in your in tray things that are in your quadrant 2 that you need to schedule. They are important, but they're not urgent. So the first place to start from is to clear out all the quadrant 1 items that are both important and urgent. Just dedicate a few hours or maybe a full day to deal with all of them, so that we start from a new slate. For those of us who don't work an office job, for example, for me, who I work in the field a lot of times, my home is basically my office. So it's an important place to start from. I need to declutter. I need to be happy when I walk into my home, because I spend quite a number of hours in this space. So that's a very important place to start from towards handling fatigue. Be in a clutter-free space. Also, if there are things that you're not using in your house, please just give them away. They are occupying space in your I don't want to say spirit, in your let's just call it the mind, in your mind. Imagine when you give out stuff, like I decided to give out a lot of plastics in my house that I was not using. Plates, cups, plastic glasses, the Tupperware. And it just, number one, it opens us some space, and with space comes peace. Tip number 2 is to always do your to-do lists in order of importance. So those who have read the book called Eat That Frog say that it's recommended to start with the biggest, ugliest frog, the first, which in terms of productivity, it means start with your biggest task that requires a lot of focus, a lot of energy, a lot of patience. So like for me, currently my MBA is running. I have a module that is active, and that is my focus every morning. I have to wake up earlier than usual and give it time when I have the energy and I have the patience as well. So always start with the biggest task first. Otherwise, if you try to do them by the end of the day or later in the afternoon, number one, when you try to do the most important task later in the day or in the afternoon or evening, you don't have the patience, you don't have the energy, you don't have the mental framework. So it's very important to begin with the most important task early in the morning and do them in order of priority to the least important. And when you do it that way, you still have the energy at the evening to do the lighter tasks, and that makes you less tired, less burnt out. Thirdly, anytime you face a challenge, I recommend that you sort it out there and then. Yesterday's video, we were talking about stress and how to manage it, and the journey of stress, how a situation, you become aware of it, then you start to worry, then it leads to stress. And so as soon as you're faced with a situation or a challenge, deal with it there and then, because anyway, it's just you who will handle it. Do not postpone it, do not procrastinate it to a later time, just deal with it there and then. In the flower business, we call it avoiding double handling. So a single stem has to go through a lot of processes, but what if we can do all these processes in one station so that we can avoid damages to this stem, because it's a fragile product. So that's the same thing with the challenges that we face. Do not extend it too long. It leads to mental burnout. So as soon as you're faced with the challenge, think of a solution, or if you need to drop it, just drop it. And when you do this, it will help you avoid what we call decision fatigue. Dragging something on and on. Just decide there and then if you have all the facts. If it's something you need to delegate it to someone, just do so. And this will prevent you from having a mental burnout. Lastly is to do 2 things. Number 1, batching of activities, and number 2, time blocking. By batching of activities, I simply mean do all related activities at the same time to avoid, again, being all over the place. So what do I mean? For instance, if I want to clean out my room, and of course I'm going to remove my bed sheets, my mattress cover, my pillow covers, duvet cover, it does not make sense for me to put them inside the laundry basket. Why not run a load immediately, so that when I'm done with cleaning the room, I'm done with cleaning all the dirty laundry that was inside my room, rather than cleaning out the laundry, putting them in the laundry basket, I go and wash utensils, then I come back and start washing them. It does not make sense. So all related activities, do them at the same time, and this will avoid you from being all over the place, and at the end of the day, you are really, really tired. So batching of activities has really helped me to be organized and to be productive. And lastly is time blocking. By time blocking, I mean allocating a specific time to a specific activity, and you do not stop doing this activity until the time is up. Like for me, it's the 2 hours in the morning that I'm doing my coursework, and blocking out this time really helps me focus and get at it until I'm done with the activity. So that's it from me for today's video. I do hope you've learned something. Subscribe, like, comment, engage with my content Till next time, bye bye.